Hey, what's up? Lasergician here. We're going to be doing a little bit of playing the Spells OTK green-blue deck. Now, this is not the most consistent deck. This is my version of it, at least. But it's super fun. This is something that I saw someone playing on the ladder one time, and I thought that I had them, and then suddenly I was dead. And I was like, well, what just happened? So it turns out there is an OTK you can do involving a couple cards. Academy Recruitment summons a couple 1/1s for you to use. Spellflux Cauldron gives all your minions +1/+0 until your next turn when you cast a spell. And Allfather's Horn restores actions to all your minions. Now, the interesting interaction here is that if you play Allfather's Horn the same turn you summon everything from Academy Recruitment, the cadets get to attack on the turn they were summoned. So apparently, Allfather's Horn's restoring action means they get an extra action this turn that they didn't have to start with. So what you do is you get a couple Spellflux Cauldrons on the board, you get your recruitment to get going, then you play one, preferably two Allfather's Horns, and then a bunch of other spells like Detained and Deported to get blockers out of the way, Raid the Tombs to draw some cards and see if you can get some more stuff to do. Cataclysm and Thunderclap are... Well, Cataclysm you shouldn't do, but Thunderclap works because you can do a little bit more chip damage. Air Healing for healing and some card draw. And the one thing that I didn't see my opponent playing that I decided to use was 3 copies of Gritting Kolobok. This is something that lets you ramp up a little bit and lets you get to the mana that you need in order to cast your combo a little bit faster. I don't know if this is a necessary inclusion, but it's one I use just because it worked out pretty well for me. The deck construction was a little weird in terms of what spells to include. I ended up going with the kind of classic blue removal suite of Ice Spike and Thunderclap. I took out 2 copies of Forked Lightning, excuse me, just because they didn't really feel all that good. The one thing that you maybe notice is missing is Ice Spike is in there as well. No, I thought Ice Spike I took out. Apparently I put it back in. I took it out for a little bit because it was underperforming, then I put it back in because it's Ice Spike. It's a great card. But the one you probably will notice is missing is the Recursionist. I think the Recursionist absolutely has a place in this deck. If you want to run it, I wouldn't be surprised if it was very, very good. So you can recur all of your spells, get to use them again. The reason I didn't include it was because it dilutes the card pool for which you can get your combo pieces. So let's say you play a Rewind Hex to get an enchantment off your opponent's board when you have their Recursionist on board, and it sends Rewind Hex back into your deck. Well, that's great, you get a little bit more value, but it means that that's another card you potentially have to dig through in order to get to your recruitment and to your Allfather's Horns and your Spellflux Cauldrons. So I've chosen not to include the Recursionist. That may be the incorrect thing to do. Maybe it's correct. I'm not sure. I haven't played around with this card in particular a lot, but for right now, I'm not using it. Turn of Seasons, because it is probably just the ubiquitously best control path right now. That starting life is kind of irrelevant, but being able to gain life in spring over and over, as well as drawing a card in fall, is really, really handy. Spring or summer and winter almost never relevant, because winter we're never going to have minions on board until we're going for our OTK, and summer, again, same kind of thing. We don't have any minions to heal. So, oh, and Smite, just because a little bit of damage makes it easier to get our OTK to go off. If you want to run Mend, if you're running into a lot of aggro, then sure, have that. But for now, Smite's been doing pretty well for me. This deck is mediocrely consistent. It's more fun than it is viable. It's one of those decks that you pull out every now and again, have a couple good games, then go play something a little bit more competitive. That said, I think with some refinement, it probably wouldn't be all that bad. I've noticed that it needs a little bit more card draw, because I sometimes just don't get to the combo fast enough. But I haven't really played with it enough to know whether or not tuning would make it viable, or whether it's just not quite there as an archetype. So hopefully someone who watches this who's much smarter than I am can go figure that out, because I would love to play this more and win with it all the time, because it's super fun. So we're going to go play a game or two with it. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know what you think in the comments. There will be a deck list in the comments as well. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, everybody. Let's go get into a couple games. Alright, queuing up for a casual game because it's kind of hard to, play optimally while also speaking out loud. So usually when I'm recording, I'm going to be playing casual, at least for now, while I'm still getting my head around this game completely. I still make a couple pretty basic misplays every now and again, so until I'm a little better at getting my head around this, I'm probably going to be playing casual in these games. Are playing against the AI, which is a little unfortunate. It's a little less interesting, but hey, at least it means we get to see how the deck looks. Grease Monkey is totally fine. Air healing is super nice. Nicely, we have Academy Recruitment and Spellflux Cauldron in our opening hand, which is super nice. Getting a couple combo pieces early is always welcome when we're just trying to sprint there. Ravine Guardian, sure. Don't need 2 Academy Recruitment, but we might like one just to stave off for a bit, so we're going to burn Detained Deported, put the Cauldron down. If they were in green, we might be a little worried. Green or orange, we might be worried about them interacting with the Cauldron, but so far, blue-yellow, that's not colors that can deal with artifacts particularly well, so we're pretty okay with it so far. We're taking a little bit of a beating, but we're honestly pretty okay with that. We have a good amount of healing in the deck, and also we have our path in spring to gain us 2 life. Allfather's Horn, another part of that combo. Cataclysm, a nice reset. I think we're going to ditch Forked Lightning. I don't think that's going to get a lot of value anytime soon. Let's just spike that off so we can get rid of their maximum mana increase. I love this animation on Spellflux Cauldron. It's so cool. Valkyrie Enforcer, not going to be able to bounce anything because we have nothing to bounce because we are entirely spells. Another Spellflux Cauldron means that when we do go off, we're going to go off even harder. Let's burn one of the recruitments because we're not under enough pressure to really worry about it. And heal up and draw. Bolt is super nice because it lets us cycle just a little bit more. And while he's in winter, it will actually kill the Valkyrie Enforcer, which is super nice. Because it has fragile, which means it takes an extra damage. Moves it over. Now I wish I had that Forked Lightning. Thunderclap works as well. Thunderclap would do it. But I don't think it's particularly necessary, honestly. I think we can just burn that and bolt. Because, again, not under a lot of pressure. Raid the Tombs. So we have no actual graveyard recursion, so Raid the Tombs is always a free play. Okay, so we have a second copy of Recruitment, which is super nice, which means we can burn the other one if we want to. We already burned this turn, right? Yeah. So I'm just gonna Smite, pass it over. So the number of mana that we need to fully combo off is 9, because Academy Recruitment plus Allfather's Horn, that's 9 mana total. We can throw down 1 Academy Recruitment a turn previous, and then go off with Allfather's Horn the next turn if we want, but usually that's not how you're going to want to do it. You're going to want to be nice and safe, take your time, play the control route. There's no reason to try and push it early. So we can just Cataclysm this away. Any damage that we put down now is less damage that we need to get out of the OTK, so things like Thunderclap and Cataclysm just kind of make things a little bit easier. So I think we're going to burn the burnable Academy Recruitment and probably Trichosect, especially now we just drew another one. Thunderclap is pretty nice. Can burn that, Trichosect that, so it can't attack, and then when we do play Academy Recruitment, it can't do much. There's an argument to be made for throwing one down now, but again, we don't really need to, and also it'd be real nice to get that second Allfather's Horn first, so we're just going to hold off for now. Yep, go ahead and hit me for 0. That's fine. Feathered Serpent, another good Troika Sect to target, but again, life total is still looking pretty healthy, so we're not in a lot of danger. Let's go ahead and raid the tombs. See what we draw. Okay, we can burn an Ice Spike. Get up to 8. So we're 1 away from our target mana value. And because of that, because we have 9 and we have these 2 for extra cycling, I'm going to not do these right now, especially as our health total is still plenty high. We can throw down a recruitment if we want, but we could also save that for after Allfather's Horn. So next turn we have 9. Then we have 9 again, so we have 2, 4, 7, and then 2 more for a smite or something. So we're looking pretty good. We're looking pretty good. God's Blood Transfusion coming down. That's okay. So we're going to burn the recruitment because we don't need both. Oh, we can burn the Kopalok instead. So here's how this works. Recruitment comes down. We play Allfather's Horn. We get a whole bunch of procs off of these. Ooh, now that we have 3 damage between Thunderclap and Bolt from the blue, plus 2 from 2 fragile procs, we can actually get this out of the way, which is very nice. Kill all of that. We're out of blue sources, but you can see we already have more than enough damage. And we kill in one fell swoop. So usually decks will put a little bit more pressure on us than that, especially the meta decks like the red-blue mid-range, but we just play the control game, we try and take it long, we try and run the opponent out of resources, and then once that's been accomplished, get in with all those spells, get the cadets down, and swing away. So that is blue-green spells OTK. Hope you enjoyed that. Deck list will be in the comments. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you would change anything. See if you can get that recursionist in there. And I'm still not sold on the action balance, the spread of actions that I have in this deck. So if you have any suggestions, any ways you would tune this, please feel free to let me know. I'd love to do a follow-up with this deck because it's a lot of fun. And until that happens, this has been Laser Edition. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.